No, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We're in reverse order, kind of, but you know what I mean. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you are well, and it's always good to be with you. And as I always will say, always good to be with Phoebe Francis in Dubai. Good morning, Phoebe.
Good morning and greetings to all. Graham, Mohammed, nice to be with all of you.
Mohammed Shukri in Bahrain. Mohammed Shukri, who has just released a book,
Hi, good morning to you, Phoebe, and Graham, and everyone who's watching.
and the name of the book is.
You are the one and only.
Yes, and if you're listening to this now, you should go and buy a copy of the book on Google. No, Amazon. Amazon,
Amazon.
not Google. Amazon. So, and we wish you great success with this book.
Thank you.
Sure, it will be hugely successful. So, I'm going to make a suggestion today that we talk about always the 5 practices of exemplary leadership, and we talk about the leadership challenge. Just to remind people who are listening to us, and maybe some people haven't listened to it before, I am a certified master of the Leadership Challenge. The Leadership Challenge is one of the most widely recognized leadership programs in the world. Been around for over 7 editions of them have been published, which must say something really positive if there's 7 editions. I keep publishing good material. And my 2 colleagues are trained facilitators of the Leadership Challenge. And every week when we have these conversations, we talk about the Leadership Challenge, how to become a better leader through the Leadership Challenge, but helping our listeners understand what are the key elements of the Leadership Challenge that then directly impact on the workplace and sometimes on our personal family lives as well. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion today about leaders leaving. Oh, leaders leaving. Yeah, leaders do leave. Sometimes if a manager leaves, we say, oh my gosh, thank goodness, he's finally gone. When a leader leaves, the people are going to be, oh, we don't want that person to go. Now, I've said this before in other presentations that I've made similar to this, that there are 3 things in this life that are guaranteed. Absolutely 3 things that are going to happen to everybody. The first is, they used to say always, taxes are inevitable. Well, there's taxes, they are certain, except if you're living in the Middle East, perhaps, or some other country. But otherwise, certainty, taxes. But the certainty is you're going to die. Not today, and not soon, we hope. But death, of course, is inevitable. There is one other thing that is inevitable. It is guaranteed. Absolutely. You will leave the job that you are in. You will. I'm sorry to tell you this, you might love your job. You will leave because of 1 or 2 or 3 reasons. One, you might get a promotion to another part of the organization. You might be offered another job in another company. You might apply for a job in another company. You might be fired. I hope not. You might retire. All of these times, you will be leaving the job that you're in now. So what happens when you leave? Well, let me share before we delve into this, to give a bit of context and why we should be talking about this. About 10 years ago, I was delivering a program, the Leadership Challenge. It was in Saudi. And at the start of the first day, one of the gentlemen, and they were senior gentlemen in this company, senior people in the large company. And one of them came up to me and said, Graham, I don't know why I'm on this leadership program. I'm retiring in 18 months. And I did not say, oh, well, of course, you must know everything. Please leave and go home and go back to your office. No. When he said that, I said, I want you to think about the legacy that you will leave when you leave the organization. Oh, he said. And he was as engaged in that workshop or more than everybody else. He was really so pleased to be there. So we're going to talk about legacy. We're going to talk about the other implications and consequences when people leave. Who would like to leave first? Oh, lead off this first.
I'll go.
Thank you.
and it just jumped to my head when you introduced me as with my latest book. In fact, it's very interesting that you are the one and only is based on one of my signature speaking programs. It's called The One and Only, and I've been delivering it since 2013. It's been almost 10 years. And it's my favorite. I love delivering this product. But then there was a point when recognized that I can't be everywhere. I really wish I can go to every country and deliver it to every audience I can, but I cannot. Nor can many people, many, of course, the majority, vast majority of people, even in my territory, they cannot have access to my workshop due to timing, due to maybe price. I don't know. Not many people will have. Then it, hit me. How can I make this idea reach to as many people, even when I'm not there physically with the people? So the idea of the book came that the book can be in the hands of people. People can read it and can read the idea even when I'm not there and when I'm gone also. So if you are, if you believe in your work, if you believe in the impact you leave on your team, on your specific audience, then you wouldn't want that impact to go away when you go away.
Yeah.
So leaving a legacy is absolutely something really pertinent to every leader, uh, especially in the workplace.
Yes, yes, well said. Phoebe,
Yeah, thank you. This topic brought me some thoughts, which again, when you mentioned about legacy, and imagine that we are living 100 years. Let God bless us all to live 100 years. That is 36,500 days. And
Wow.
36,500 days if we are living 100 years. And imagine the work life we have in organizations. So imagine if we work 40 years in an organization, that is 14,600 days only. And what kind of impact can we have in that time with the people around us? How can we uplift them? And as always, Graham guide us like leadership is everyone's business. As that should be the legacy which we can, if we can transfer it to the team around us, the people around us, how beautiful it will be. And quite often, we may see a different picture in organization. And that is where the leadership challenge offers. How can, again, the 5 practices I want to reiterate, how it helps to leave a legacy within the team.
yeah, see, all of the things that we talk about have a life that are not just in the moment, right? They carry on. The impact that we have on people as leaders often occurs in a way that we don't know about it. I've already mentioned, I'm sure, in our earlier conversations about this, that the gentleman who used to work for me came up to me at an event when I was back in Australia a few years ago. And one of the first things he said to me was, Graham, I still have the memos that you sent to me telling me of the good work that I had done. Now, there are people listening to it now who won't know what a memo is or was. We don't send memos anymore. And memos are hard copies on a typewriter. Oh, what's a typewriter? Anyway, I had sent him my good words of encouragement, and he remembered this. And when he told me this, it was 30 years after we had worked together. I think that's kind of a legacy, right? That he remembered this. The other aspect of this is that I often talk about be aware of the footprints that we leave in the sand. That is, as we walk through life, as we walk through, therefore, the office or the space that we're leading, And that space doesn't need to be physical, it can be virtual. But we are creating an impact by what we do as leaders and what we say. And when we've gone from that interaction, when we've moved on to something else, what we've communicated is likely still to be in the mind of that person. What we've done when we've given them encouragement, when we've empowered them, when we've talked about the future, when we've demonstrated, of course, as we always do, our values, that stays with them. These 5 practices that we demonstrate as Zambia, that stays with them. So it's like the footprints that we leave in the sand. And I was saying this to someone the other day, and I then went on to say, and when we might then but say, those of us who live near the desert in the Middle East, but then, Graham, a shamal or a wind comes up and blows the sand away. So the footprints that you left, they're gone because the wind has blown it away. But listen to this. Your DNA, because you walked through the sand, your DNA has touched thousands of grains of sand. And that goes beyond the immediacy of that moment. So when we communicate as leaders, the behaviours that we demonstrate will go far beyond. We're all aware of creating a ripple in the ocean that can go around the world. This is what can happen with leadership and when we've gone. What do you say, Mohammed?
I think if leaders pay attention to this, leaders already do this. They are actually leaving a legacy while they are still there.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? Is that a leader, by default, by definition, enables others to act, and they are mobilized, and that word is exactly in the book. They are mobilized to do the work and with full commitment, with full belief in themselves, because the leader has not delegated, actually. He enabled them to do what they are supposed to do. So by definition, he is simulating him not being there or her not being there. Add to that that he also goes on leaves, he goes on vacations. And so it's not really new that the leader isn't there. They are a good leader, of course. His people are acting while he's there, not acting, because he's there. So this is very important, that the leader who is preparing them, actually, without him knowing when he's leaving, is actually preparing them to, be active. And that's one sort of legacy,
Yes. Before I come to Phoebe, I just want to feed into something that you said about going away and being going on holidays. One of the examples I remember going back away was this was a woman who was a reasonably senior manager, leader, and she said, I went away on my annual leave and I asked this person to stand in my position while I was away, and I knew it would run smoothly, and said, okay, that's good. She then said, when I came back from leave, one of the systems had been changed. And I said, well, how did you feel about that? And she said, I thought it was fantastic because she, the person she delegated, put into place, came up with a new idea that I hadn't even thought of. And she put in this new system, which was just fantastic. Now, I'm going to suggest here that if a manager is one who has insecurities, don't change any systems while I'm on leave. Or when they come back and they find that that person has changed the system, they'll feel threatened because you might take my job. The leader's going to say, no, come up with a new system. Run. I don't need to be here. I don't need to be here because of the behavior you now learn, and you're mirroring what we talk about and what we do. You're doing the same sort of thing. You don't need me here. Yes, we do need you with this. But we don't need you here because you do a great job without me. Phoebe, please.
Yeah, I think, Graham, I here again refer and acknowledge Muhammad's book. You are the one and only. So, and he has a tagline: unleash your niche. And as leaders, in our discussion, we are coming across this part that is, do what you say you will do. And that action, if it is, again, clarifying the values and helping to bring the voice of the team, the people within the circle in the organization, I'm sure that will align actions, as we just heard from you. In my absence, as I have nurtured, developed new leaders, they are capable to bring necessary change in absence of the my presence. That is, I am leaving a legacy there, where there are plenty of new leaders who can bring the leadership and take the team together forward. And again, the 5 practices of exemplary leadership, starting with modeling the way. So as you shared that, how I am modeling and what values am I displaying in that modeling, and how I am setting example will be followed by the other members in the team. And we can see more followers following the leader with the leadership practices he or she has followed or demonstrated, modeling the way.
We have an activity in the Leadership Challenge workshop, as I'm sure you know, which is called a Credo memo, and this is where we can the memo, this document, it's a document. We hand it to the people in the workshop, and the words are, I am going on a 6-month sabbatical. I will not be able to be contacted by any means during this time. Please now write down what you will be doing based on the values that we have, the understanding of what things could be done, so that this organisation runs smoothly, etc., while I'm away. Oh, I'm not going to be here. Oh, you can't contact me. So what are you going to do while I'm away? But hopefully, of course, the leader who is going away has set things in place that doesn't need to be feeding everything. He doesn't need to be tweaking and changing and checking. Just checking to make sure you're doing a good job. No, he or she's got to be doing that. Now, if we look for a moment at the leader whose this time has come, you know, I said this is about leaving a legacy. And the time has come for the leader either to move on to another company where he's going to go to a bigger and better position. Who knows? Or it could be a time when he or she is retiring. How do you think, what sort of things might be going through his or her mind when they are making that or coming to that realization that they will be leaving this position, which has been very successful for them? What might be going through their mind?
Well, I was thinking the same, because I had also a question coming. Yeah, what would actually be a legacy in that regard? Because whether we like it or not, the people actually love the leader so much that they almost become less, I mean, less and less performance, or when he leaves, I don't know. But I was going to ask, what is exactly a legacy? Is it something physical? Like, does he keep systems that run the place in a better way, even if he's gone? Or does he leave his mark on the souls and the morals of the people? And because the people also will leave and they will also change. So what is exactly a legacy? We need some solid examples to give idea of the legacies here.
Well, I think the legacy is something which people remember you for, that you are remembered when you've gone, that your impact being in the organisation lives on after your department. That there is, even, and the legacy may well be, for instance, the systems that you have put in place, the systems that you've allowed other people to put in place, the level of motivation that you've instilled, the culture that you've built, the empowerment that everyone feels, the engagement that they have, the knowing that they are on the vision that they're moving toward. You may not be there anymore to be part of that vision, but our vision is now, the baton is handed to them now to move on and climb the mountain to achieve these things. And you hopefully will want to be leaving in the contented mindset, not a frustrated mindset of, oh my gosh, they won't do this, and oh my gosh, they won't happen, but knowing because of the behaviors that have become natural and normal for them, that they will continue to do the wonderful thing that you have helped them to be able to do when you were with them all the time. But you don't know that you don't need to be with them, but make sure that they behave this way. Now, that leader may well be saying, this is a wonderful team. I'm sorry to leave them because of the interaction that I enjoy with them every day. And I am so pleased that they do the work that's required, that they are committed, that they are achieving great results. I value that above anything, that they are doing great things without me having to be pushing all the time, because leaders don't push. And I'll be sorry not to be part of this engagement. But I'm leaving knowing that this will continue, right? So what you
I
I
like to add.
what
I
you,
like to add with what Graham mentioned. Like this is my personal story where, one of my professors who actually I see as a leader who helped or transformed my thought process, and it was through his words and his actions. Like I see the five practices modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, enabling others to act, and encouraging the heart in that space. So the story which I have already shared in the past, that I had a challenging grade in my grade 12, and I couldn't get into an academic institution to continue pursue my bachelor's program, but finally I got in. And the words of the professor was, forget about what happened in the past. That is not what determine your future. And he was inspiring us by sharing a vision. You are studying economics is the subject which takes the world, determine the pulse of economies. And that was these words, the power of words have the opportunity to challenge us in the spaces where our thought process is shifted. And in that process, he's helping to develop more leaders, enabling us to act. And so that is a legacy which I still remember, and which I still cherish, and which still encourages my heart. So that is a legacy which that specific professor has brought in my life. So again, similar to the same, there was another leader in an organization who retired, but we still remember him in our conversation. The actions, the words, the way in which he enabled others still encourages us. That is a legacy which I think. And again, Graham is here with us, who always, again, through those words and actions, bring us together, and modeling the way, inspiring a vision for us, challenging us at various instances. So I have to acknowledge that, and enabling us to act. And Graham, also thank you for that, for encouraging the heart at various points of time. So that is a legacy where a leader plays an impact. So and again, even if so for example, from an organizational context, there will be no vacuum felt by the people. Yes, that person may not be easily accessible in that space for the moment, but his words, his actions inspire us to be better leaders in that space.
yes, absolutely. Mohammed, I'm going to ask you to say one last thing before we wrap up. Then I'm going to give you a specific suggestion for what the leader should do when he or she leaves. Mohammed.
Yeah. Since you talked about my book, I did my book launch last week, and I invited a number of people. One of them is my Arabic language teacher in grade 12. Why? Because I still remember that a piece of my writing essay, he has marked it, but also added 2 lines with his handwriting, and I still can see it, remember it. And he wrote, your fingers carry the seeds of a good journalist. All right. So one day you'll become a writer, something like this. Okay. And I wanted to invite him badly. And I called him and I said, Mr. So and so, can you come to my book launch? Oh, Muhammad, thank you very much. But I'm busy I'm teaching. I said, but I want to invite you because you said so and so. When did I do that? When did I say that? All right. I don't remember, Muhammad. Thank you. I can't come. Okay. See, you never know what you say, what you do can leave on people. Doesn't have to be your department, your company, or people you lived with for a long time. It can be something you said to someone and you leave a mark for the rest of their lives. I mean, he made me love language. Not only that, Mark, you made me love language for the rest of my life. And there you go. So leaving a legacy doesn't have to be something really huge and complicated and a plan and systems, and you have to live with them for years so that they can miss you. No, it's what you leave. Okay, that's leaving a legacy. Yeah.
And as I said before, we don't know the footprints that we leave in the sand. We
Yeah.
don't know what people will remember of us, but they will remember always, as someone wiser than me said, people will remember how it made them feel. And that's what leaders should be doing. I'm going to suggest this as we wrap this up. What the leader might do on the last day that he or she is there. What usually happens on the last day when someone's leaving that position, whatever that position is? What usually happens in the office? We have an event, right, where we farewell this person. We might even give them some flowers or some good wishes and say, well, thank you very much and goodbye and good luck. Yeah, right. I'm going to suggest this. That if that was to be me, this is what I would be doing. And let's just say that I've got to take 15, maybe 20 people that I'm leaving behind. Of course, there'll be others. But in that event, instead of them having an event where they're going to give me a presentation, but they're going to say some nice things to me, I would be wanting in that event to individually, in front of everybody else, but individually go around the room and have at least one positive comment about each person in that team. We call this genuine and meaningful. That's one way of doing it. The other way is for that leader to write a handwritten note to each of these people, put it in an envelope, and have someone put it on their desk overnight. So the next morning when they come in, there's an envelope, sealed, sitting on their desk with a note from that leader saying, I just want to say to you that I've noticed this, and you know that I've observed this about you. This is really important, etc., etc. So this is what the leader is saying and encouraging people to be like what he was. For him to say, you have contributed so much to the success of this team and the success that I'm now enjoying, and I want to say thank you. I think that would make a lasting impression. Not only for people to think nicely about you, but for them to emulate these behaviors as well. Because
Yes, exactly.
impact on them because they want to share this with others.
Exactly, yes.
You agree?
I agree. And I
Yeah.
would like to do this often and often, yes, because of the teams I work with are very temporary for every training project. So I have co-facilitators, and I will take this, thank you very much, to with them. And yeah.
We believe. Phoebe, one last
No,
word.
I think one last word. Again, I borrow the title from Mohammed Shukri's book. You are the one and only. Bring that on. That is your legacy.
You are the two and only for me, and I always want to make sure it's really as we help change the world one leader at a time. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and I look forward, as I always do, to being with you at the same time and in the same place next week. Have a great week. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Phoebe.
And definitely don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts, reach out to us in case you need and you have a leadership
And
challenge, we are here to help.
since you mentioned that, just for this episode, check out my book on Amazon.com. You are the one and only.
Don't just
Thank
check
you.
it out. Buy it. Don't just check it out. Buy it.
Yeah,
That's what I
you
meant
are,
by check out. That's what I meant.
yeah, by you are the one and only.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good week.